One of the biggest keys this week, kind of one of the biggest takeaway of the week was Tyrese Maxey, who's now back in the starting five. Wednesday was because Embiid was out, so we went with kind of a three-guard lineup with Melton, Harden, and Maxey. And then last night against the Mavericks, Maxey was in the starting lineup again. They moved Melton back to the bench. And both played well in the role. So last night, Melton went 12, 6, and 7. Maxey, last two games, has scored 27 and 29 points. And just looks more. It looks like the Maxey that we saw in the playoffs last year, and the Max that we all thought we were going to see all throughout the season. And on the telecast last night, they also said that Doc is still fine-tuning the starting five, so this isn't necessarily what we're going to be our starting five the rest of the season. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought we were going to once Maxey was back in the starting lineup, that was it. He was going to go back to being in the starting five, but obviously Doc's still retooling that. But do you think if Maxey is kind of in the starting five again, do you think this means the six-man role for him was a failure, Eric?
Well, you know where I stood on the whole six-man thing. I said from the beginning, this wasn't a move to benefit Maxey. It was only to quote unquote benefit the team. So that's what it showed, that it didn't benefit him. I mean, the team performed well. They performed well with him in the lineup, but they performed well with him not in the lineup, starting lineup rather. But it didn't benefit him.
Yep.
It did matter. I mean, you're wrong. His minutes are lower. His minutes was less. There was no way. It's not like they kept his minutes the same. That's why I was saying, like, if they keep his minutes the same and his role the same, but when they moved him to the sixth man or the bench as a reserve, it was presented like nothing would change except for him not starting. That wasn't true.
It's not. You're right.
That wasn't true.
No.
Now, I have no issue with it if how it was presented. That's what actually happened. That didn't happen. You took a guy that was playing well out of the lineup off an injury, and his minutes decreased, his touches decreased, but we wanted the same production. Who are you kidding? How are you going to get the same production with less? So you put him back in the lineup, minutes increase, touches increase, because he's proven that he can get touches because he don't need touches in the half court. He can go out there and he's almost a one-man fast break.
Yep.
He'll get more of that in his starting lineup than he will as a reserve, because usually as a reserve, he's the guy bringing the ball up the court instead of the guy going up the court and receiving the ball. That's the biggest difference. So it does matter when he plays and who he plays with, from an effective, being an effective standpoint.
Yeah, I did a little deep diving into the splits, actually. So the minutes are definitely less. As a starter, he's averaging 36 minutes. As a bench, he's averaging 29. So that off the bat, big difference right there. 23 points. Yeah, dude, that's a lot. 23 points as a starter, 16 points as bench. 46 and 11 or 46 and 41 shooting percentages, field goal on 3, compared to 45 and 37. A little dip at 3, but not a huge difference, right? 13 shots per game on the bench. 18 attempts as a starter. It's a big difference too. Overall usage was pretty same. It was about minus 2% off the bench, which you'd actually expect his usage to go up if he's being put with less talented.
Yeah, I mean, but usage
players, right?
Goes down if you're bringing the ball up the court because you're just giving the ball up more so than making plays.
True. Yeah.
When he's in the starting lineup, when he catches the ball, it's to make plays. He's not trying to run the offense and set anybody up. He's trying to score the basketball.
Yeah. So offensive defensive ratings are pretty close. So it wasn't as much as a starter benching as it was just a minutes thing, right? So They could have kept his minutes the same and still had him come off the bench, but
that's what I'm saying. That's how it was presented.
Yeah, this is not what happened.
He was still going to play 30 minutes or whatever. No. But I said it then. There's no way it's going to be the same. It's not. It comes off as what? A demotion.
Yeah.
And that's how it looked.
Yeah, well.
It was the only way to look at it. I said it then when it happened. No, this is not a promotion. This is not good for him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're not stubborn about it and they realize it and they rectified it. And maybe they will go back to him on the bench against certain teams. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people think Doc has a burner account on Twitter, and he's seeing all the fan hate about having Maxey on the bench and also not giving Paul Reed minutes. And the same week, he gives Paul Reed more minutes, and Maxey's back in the starting five. So maybe,
y'all just won the bench Maxey a couple of games ago.
He was already benched.
Was it the Boston game or something? Y'all said he shouldn't be playing. So whatever game that was.
I think I was talking about trading him during the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was me. I'm back on Maxey.
You're back on the trade train or the Maxey train?
I'm back on the Maxey train. He's back.
Oh, okay.
He's back and I'm back.
Oh, my
oh man. I mean, if it's a good trade, I'd still do it.
I don't know. With all these Harden rumors, if he wants out, let's give Maxey the keys to the kingdom. Maxey and Embiid, baby.
Keys to what?
You can't move Maxey now until you get some stability on the James issue.
Yep.
Yeah. That's for damn sure.
That's just gonna come down to James is working that him and his people, whoever putting this out there is working that they basically have started contract negotiations.
Yeah, which I think that's what it mostly is. I think it's money and years. That's what they want.
We started contract negotiation
because it's not like it'd be one thing. I keep laughing because it's like it'd be one thing if he left Houston like 7 years ago. And he's like, damn, I miss it those days. It was like 2 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago that he wanted out of that place.
Well, yeah, it's one thing if they were like built to win right now, and they aren't.
Yeah, I mean. All they have is the money aspect.
And in some ways, like it's a decision. Like, why would Houston do it?
Because they get Brooklyn's pick anyway, so they don't need to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in some ways, why would they do it?
How petty.
I'm just saying, if you're completely rebuilding, if you're completely rebuilding. Why would you do it?
Yeah, and I've seen on those threads a lot of Houston fans. Some are just like they gave their heart to Harden many years ago, so they just want him back under any circumstance to make it more fun to watch games. Other people are like, "Why? Why would we do that? What for what? Other than just to make it more fun to watch." But man, when they're losing most of their games. What Harden's going to ask out again? Like what? I just don't get it. I mean,
it doesn't seem to be the best. It doesn't seem to be the best basketball decision either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for James and for them, basketball decision. That may be the best comfort decision.
Yes,
and in some ways, financial decision.
Yes.
But basketball decision, it doesn't seem like the best for either one.
Yeah. He still loves Houston. They let him
where
go
James is in his career and where Houston is going in their career. It doesn't seem like it.
I mean, he loves Houston. He loves going to strip clubs whenever he wants. They let him go to Vegas whenever he wants. No, that wasn't the report, Eric. He loves the fact that they can say they'll tell him, "You score 30, do whatever the hell you want. Just be back by game time." He loves
that. Is it why? So why can't the same they say that now? Because they is running the Sixers.
Exactly. That was my response. It makes no sense. He was the guy who was letting him do that, and he wanted out when that guy left.
So is it a different they in Houston we talking about?
Maybe they who is with us now, and Maury is not doing that anymore, though. And Harden doesn't average 30 anymore. That's another thing too. So if we say, oh yeah, go to Vegas if you get 30, well, that doesn't happen that often. So he ain't going to Vegas that much, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, all I can say to the whole Houston thing is like his buddy Eric Gordon, I think right before he was traded, like 2 weeks before that, he just talked about how it's the same thing every year with Houston. There's no improvement ever. And so kind of harsh words about Houston. And now James all of a sudden wants to go back to where his buddy just left. I don't know.
I think it's
like we said, it's posturing for a bigger deal.
Yeah. There was a weird conversation between him and people and Morey. Morey was like, we'll see what happens. And the guy's like, well, what? No, we can see anything, buddy. You're opening those pockets.
Yeah.
He's like, let's talk after the season. He's like, all right, we'll watch this. Watch this report I get my guys to put out right now.
Yeah. All right. So
and by the way, in pure basketball, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Whatever he's asking for, max contract, the money, he is what they said they would pay him based off of. So
yeah.
Right now he deserves whatever he asks for.
And he paid his dues by taking the cut last offseason to free up more money for us.
That's even like, yeah.
It's added.